I mentioned this many times before, you're able to duplicate the judging scores whether you're in Southern California, Northern California, or in Indiana. It doesn't make a difference where you are because each of the 10 different categories that we judge are judged by different people. So one car is judged by about maybe as many as 20 people because one judge will only judge paint, the other judges will judge wheels, another judge will judge engine. So even if you have one loser judge or one nasty judge, it doesn't make any difference in the total score, okay? Which is different like in the classic car club. In the classic car club, you have 2 judges judge the whole car. So if you have somebody that doesn't like a Packard or that doesn't like a Cadillac, you usually don't get the same score. So it's a great way of judging cars. The only problem is that you need a lot of judges, okay? So even though it's going to be relatively unique meat, you're going to need, what?
I'll give you a water. It's a bowl of vodka.
Better get Tom a bowl.
I'll need you to go down. Share with you.
But yeah, actually we need a lot of judges. We need maybe as many as 35 and 40 judges just because there's 10 categories and there's pre-war and post-war, so you need a lot of judges. But again, it's a duplicatable system. I've looked at results of scores on the same car from Southern California to Northern California, and the point difference is relatively small. A total of 250 points, and may only be about 5 or 6, 7 points difference if you judge it here or you judge it in Northern California. So it's a great way to judge. I guess most everybody here has been a judge before, and if you. One of the reasons for coming here is I can get your name and make sure you'll be a judge. No. I don't know if you've been able to have most of you have seen the judging guidelines, and I'll pass some of these out. You can take a look at it. But basically, this has been around for a number of years, and it still works, and it works very well. Even though it says on the top 2002, like I said, it's still basically the same judging procedure. One of the things we don't do that is done like for the classic car club, we don't check all the lights and horn, all that type of stuff, mainly because we know that people with the Packard club, they usually drive their cars. So if you drove your car there and you made it safely, you figured everything works. We do like to start the engine though, because I like to hear the Packard engines. As long as you're close to it, if you're too far away, you can't hear it. So by the way, that's why they put oil pressure gauges in Packard cars, because if you have oil pressure, you know the engine's running. Otherwise you couldn't tell.
You can cheat.
Yeah.
Okay. If anybody actually, I tell this to the judges, but if any of the judges ever have any questions about what they're looking at, there's always somebody in the group that knows about what they're looking at. For example, if anybody has a question on judging engines, we go to Cal. So Cal, how is this? How should this be? And Cal usually knows. That's why Cal does most of usually does all the engine work, engine judging. So the first thing we judge is engine room, and we set up the judging to pre-war and post-war, as you probably all know, because there are differences, and Cal usually judges the pre-war engine, and we usually get someone just as comparable in the post-war engines. Cal, do you want to? What are some of the things that you usually find that you get points off on the engine?
Dirty.
Cleanliness is important.
Should be reasonably clean.
Right.
Parts should be authentic to the year of the car. Maybe radiator hoses, ribbed hoses are not bad, most of them.
That you find that are not up to snuff with engine work?
Well, typically they always have somebody who tries to
color.
Yeah, well, yes, color, because they don't have a standard that they're following. They have no idea, but all of a sudden they're amongst you folks who have a car very similar to theirs, and they're not paying attention to what should be. And as we say, the color, we've seen some crazy colors turquoise, we've seen, but they don't know.
Right.
Typically what you see a lot of today is, especially in pre-war cars, is the firewall is like on a 33, 34 Packard, it's painted black. Well, it should be body color, or it should be black, but on 36, 7, and 8, it's body color. So, but in 33, 34, it is black. But so many times, you know, maybe a guy restored a 33 Packard, and now he bought a 40 Packard. But that firewall's going to be black, but he has no idea. So, color would probably be the biggest thing. And if you have any thoughts of if it's incorrect or if it's not correct, you know, it's just best to defer to somebody who can help you. But if we've always said it's an honor to have your Packard on board, and if an owner says that's the way it is, just take it for that, thank him,
Right.
and be done.
Good. The next item is elegance and sport motif, which is a real tough category to judge, mainly because it's in the eye of the beholder. And it's the one thing that many times I think that it should be taken out of the judging total points, mainly because it's a convertible sedan is going to score better than a closed coupe, mainly because it's more elegant or it's more sporty. So even though somebody may have a so-called 100-point car, if it's a 110 or a 120, they may score 100 points usually, but they won't score as much as an open car. So that's one of the things. Over the years, there have been a lot of discussions about taking that out of the judging score and just having a separate award for that. We do have a separate award for sport motif and elegance, but again, most of us here are not in here for the awards. But it's still nice to know that there is an award for that category. But it does put you back a little bit by a few points if you do have a coupe versus a roadster, because the roadster is always going to score a couple points more. There's not a major difference in other words, even if somebody has a 110 Packard that's perfectly done, I really would take off more than a couple points.
It was very nice the last year that they porcelainized the exhaust manifold. And it used to be that you can't run more than about 50 to 100 miles before it begins to get cracked or whatever.
Right.
Unless somebody has come out with something that will heal that. So how do you evaluate that?
One thing that I did with my Packard, which is out in the back there, and you can look at it if you have a concern. But I honestly don't know if they do it anymore. But I had my exhaust manifold on that 34 Packard black chrome. So that is black chrome. That doesn't chip off like porcelain does. And people can't tell the difference. But it is black chrome. Do they do black chrome anymore,
Yes.
Robert?
They do. You know, to that, in porcelain, you know, the reason that that the new porcelain pops and chips is because they've taken the lead out of the porcelain. So literally, as the heat expands and contracts, you can literally hear, like an oven, pinging away, where as it cools down, it's popping out the porcelain. I mean, if I was a judge, I'd be really lenient to that, because the one problem that you have is when you're constantly removing these valuable parts, it's not like you can go buy them. So many times if you break an ear off of a 34 Packard manifold, if, like Tom says, he has two things that value to him. He's got a little money in the bank, but more importantly, he has a manifold at home. And, yeah, right?
I have an extra manifold. Really.
Yeah. But if you, I mean, value, so that's why a lot of times I'm very careful, you know, to the engine compartment. I've always said, and it's not in your judging sheets, but I've always said that a 37 Super 8 detailed motor versus a 37 Packard 12 motor, there is twice as much chrome, twice as much headache, twice as many coils that you give that guy. I mean, if you find more stuff or less stuff, don't be as critical on the guy with the 12 as you would with the Super 8, only because of what you find. I mean, it's never been in there. It's something I've always talked to Cal about, but I'm not a judge. You are.
Yeah, I would follow the same with Robert saying that to be very lenient. Now, some of the porcelain is all cracked, but some little minor cracks I wouldn't be concerned about. How would you look at it, Cal, with manifolds, porcelain manifolds? Let's say the car is perfect, engine's perfect, except they had a couple of cracks in the manifold. Would you knock them off any point?
It's kind of hard to say, because you might say, well, no, it's still pretty good, we'll let that go, or, but there's always one that's will be perfect,
Right.
so you have to allow.
Sure, it has to be some of that.
And the question is, did he drive it there, or did he just take it off the transport to get it there?
Right.
Or sometimes these guys will have a perfect manifold and will go through the extra effort of changing that while it's there and not running their car, so the maximizing of the full points is achieved.
Yeah. But has anybody ever had their manifold black chrome? I've never seen anybody have done it.
Well,
We've
you
had
have
a couple of them in the past.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Sometimes in extreme heat, those manifolds run as the color changes.
The color changes a little bit, but they won't crack.
Kind of gets bluish,
Yes, yeah. Mine's a little bit bluish. Yeah.
but it won't crack or split anyway.
Right.
These manifolds, especially on the long 8 cylinders, they move quite a bit when they're hot and cold. You can see it on the washers, the nuts that hold the thing on, you can see where it's glued on.
Right.
It's hard to keep a gasket on some of the models because it keeps moving and tearing the gasket.
Right.